So this is a review between Patrick and BernieJ. This is a one stone handicap, so we will still treat it much like an even game. So all the first moves are fine, but we want to always try and make sure that when we're making our next moves after the corners, they're always approaching our opponent or enclosing ours if we have a 3-4. Always the best approach. We want to play corner, side, center, and playing on the sides first makes it much easier for our opponent to force us onto a side. Playing in this manner, if black plays this, then if you play something like this, then you start to see you've played too many moves on one area. It's all about the flexibility of your stones. So this is not the normal move. Normally what we play is this, and then it leads to this. So this is Joseki. You can just try and remember that this is what Shusaku diagonal is called. So it's a very strong, stable group, and this is also stable, and white can easily live in the corner if there's a situation that he can't play on this side. So white here decides to make a hole, which black ignores. Here I would just simply push and cut and see what my opponent wants, right? See if this ladder works for me. Probably does, and then I just basically surrounded my opponent while they live in the corner. Not good for white, right? So we want to make sure that we always keep ourselves as strong as we can to our opponents. Just playing this will never be wrong, because if your opponent does this into this into this, then you can jump later, right? It's all about not rushing. It's about being patient and making sure that the structure of your stones are as solid as possible, so it prevents your opponent from easy moves like that, right? As better as you get, the more weaknesses you could leave, but it will be more of a calculated weakness, right? Like a situation you are willing to handle because you're sure of what to do in that situation. That's the whole point. You want to always be as strong as you need to be, and the need to be is on the dependency that you know how to deal with that situation. If you really don't know how to deal with any situation, just be as strong as possible. It's okay to play subpar moves for strength, because it will slowly teach you how to attack your opponent, right? How would you learn efficiency without being strong first? So if you learn it from a point of weakness, you leave too many holes, then you have to change the habit, rather than going from being strong to being able to play away faster. That's the whole idea. So yeah, again, playing on the side, very bad, because again that stone has no purpose in the point. Right now, if you just played anywhere here, if black just plays this, right, are you gonna pincer and then black runs out, and then now you're split into two groups, right? It's always best just keep your groups together and they'll be fine. Like this move again, way too strong moves in a very small area. You have to remember, the point is to make a bigger area than your opponent. How to make big areas is you always to build, right? We're trying to build a structure where we start in the corner, move on to the side, then move on to the center, and then enclose the center, right? It's basically making a bucket, and you always have to remember the bucket always has to start at the corner, right? When you start at the corner, that's the easiest place to make a group. Then you start at the side because that's the second easiest, right? Then you jump into the center because now you have stability, right? And then you can enclose it, because enclosing will always be the hardest thing. You can never start from anywhere else. So black also plays a wrong move, white also is focusing on the wrong thing, and now black plays a move like this that allows for the jump. Here maybe even white could consider seeing what happens if there's a cut. What happens where if black does this, can you maybe, let's say I give this up, corner up, because I say, black has a lot of points in this. So because black doesn't want to lose the corner, maybe black captures over here and white can capture over here and say, okay, I take this side and black gets this side. It's an even trade. It's not bad at all for white. So you can see, like, if your opponent adds a weakness to you, the weakness of your group gets removed because you can counter attack. So it's all about how strong your group is compared to your opponents. Your goal is always to make sure that your group is as strong or stronger than your opponent, and you will always be fine. This is a weird Joseki move. You normally would just do this into this or this, and it depends what your opponent plays. You know, something like this can be played, or something like, if this happens, you can play something like this as well. I'm not sure why you played this. Always go towards the wider side. That's the easiest way to make the moves, because you can see now this group can live if you know how, which is this into this into this. Then it's alive, but again, way too small for something that's useful. This is a crazy fight, quite interesting. Here I might choose to go down instead, because I already have a stone here, so I want to go towards the slightly wider spot, so I'll be kind of fine, because in this situation I can then try to read what happens if I play this, right? Is my opponent able to easily break through? Am I in danger of being captured? Or can my stones, you know, do something like this? Then that's more of a reading problem. I will not focus on the reading parts of the fight, because that's more of a skill that you should develop, right? I'm not sure if this Atari is good. I would most probably just do this, because then the Atari would be very problematic. It's all about making sure that these two stones have the worst time possible, right? If you do go backwards to prevent any issues, you always want to make sure that your stones are stronger towards the weaker side. This stone may not matter, because, you know, this group is fine, but if these stones don't live, you get the whole area. So you have to kind of have that, making that type of decision. So yeah, this is, I think, all reading problems, so I'll kind of skip it, but you can just try to understand on the basis of how do you try to attack is always using the strength of your group. These stones are very strong because they're very stable. What is weak is this, so you want to add more stones towards this group as best as you can. So doing this move is probably bad. Even a move like this would be nice, just so that if your opponent does try to keep crawling, you can say that, you know, I can take a fight or whatever. And in this situation, maybe you will want to run and then try to surround, depends who gets there first. Again, all about reading and depending on the opponent. So here, this is again weird. I would just, you know, do this. If I'm scared about anything, it will be them trying to push through. So why not just close the holes, right? It's all if you just learn to focus on being strong, all the problems magically fix themselves. Points will magically appear the stronger you are. Here, even here, like just doing something like this, so that if your opponent does play this, they will have to play this in the future, and you see, you start to keep staying ahead, and maybe you can start attacking this if you want. You can even try to come out here. If they block, you can cut. If they are if they're Atari like this, then maybe you can see, oh, you know, it doesn't work in this situation, because I will be probably able to connect over here, because if they're Atari over here, you know, I'll capture this. Then if they try to run this out, I can play this, and then if they try to cut, I'll capture these stones. So maybe I have an idea of what will live, what won't live, you know, like something like this. Or because I have these stones, I can maybe run it out. It's all gonna be about the reading. So like, oh, I'm to ahead only, so I need to quickly capture these stones. It's that kind of idea. You could sacrifice something, you could lose something to gain something else. It's all about how to calculate. At your level, it's going to be hard to not know what to do, so you can just try and focus on what is the most important part. So like here you see that you're trying to like cut a lot of things out of position, out of not being strong, and that's gonna cause more trouble, because you can start to see now even black has some movements that you can play, and you see now your groups are split. That's not good. Right now you have to make your stones live. Luckily you were able to. Right, what would have happened if black just played something like this, say, oh, I will allow you to come inside because I'm not too worried. You could maybe capture this one stone, but I get to capture this whole group, which I just don't find good at all. And this one move could maybe allow black to continue coming in and say, you know what, I'm gonna continue to try to capture you because you can't run out this way. If you run out like this, can play this kind of move, and then if you are a stake, can maybe play this. Even if there's a cut over here, you kind of get captured in one move. So there's a lot of reading stuff that goes on into this, and it's all about being strong. So for black, the whole position could have been fine if black knew what damage it could take. It's all about how much damage you can take, and the stronger you are, it's always gonna be better, because you can take more damage if you're strong. So yeah, here again, after playing this, white could just play this and try and see, is this alive? I feel like it is. Can you read it out? Maybe not. Up to you. You kind of decide. Here, once black plays this, I would probably first play this, because if this happens, you still kill. But in this situation, it's much harder for black to be able to, just easily run out. So you could be like, oh, I'll take this damage so that if this cut happens, I can be fine. Where if I'm cut like this, can I go out? Can I not? Maybe if I'm too scared to worry about it, I can maybe play a move like this, right? You can see now here, there's no push at all that works, because it's really stable. So that's the idea of making your group stronger. So you can see that this one space jump is to try and gradually surround, and then you easily be able to play one more move that allows you to just not be pushed at all. So I think black tries to capture, and I think this one move is a very easy mistake to avoid. You just need to run out, right? Even if black does try to connect back to these stones, like this, and there's some cut over here, you can try to see what is the issue with the stones, right? You can start to see that maybe at a point, because of how the group is, you might start to come out that you don't have enough liberties. So it's always going to be best to try and make sure that the strength of your group is more solid. When you create these two holes, you have to deal with all these problems that allow black to just do this, compared to if you had a much more stable group, like this, right? No matter what black did in this situation, even doing this, right, just by having more stability, allowing your opponent to live sometimes might be fine, because you have to take a look and understand, are you ahead or are you behind? Does black have more or does white have more, right? Who is in a better position, right? If this can live, maybe if white can come inside here, if this becomes stronger, if this group dies, then I think white would be on the winning end. So yeah, so the mistake of just like getting those stones and getting them sacked, I think changed the game completely, because I believe after this point, white isn't able to do too much, because this whole area of white that was supposed to be white is not white anymore. So all these points are not white, points here are not white. White, I think here, I think black can survive as well. All these stones are connected, right? So it's all about making sure that you understand that the way to make points is always being able to fight back, and strength will always allow that. So as you can see, black just keeps taking more and more. There's a lot black can do. Some of the moves black make is not correct, but a lot of damage that white is trying to do, like as you can see, let's say we take a look at moves like this, right? White tries to cut. You can see that white is not able to do the damage that it wants to. Even if after doing this you were able to try and come in, you can see that yes, black has a lot of problems, but white has a lot of problems. If white connects over here, you see that in one move all of these white stones are gonna get captured, right? And this is just not good at all, because white can't fight back. You need strength. So if white had chosen to maybe play a move like this first, right? See if this strength is good, then maybe an idea would be to, I would try to maybe cut this group and see if I can run the stones out. You have to try and read the situation before you're doing any of the problems later. But yeah, I think white made a lot of bad choices in this game, which caused white to not be able to successfully come back after the major loss. The biggest loss was this. If this had died, this would have died as well, and white would have kept most of the points. But because this survived and another thing survived, it becomes an avalanche, and everything just flows over and completely breaks the game for you. So mostly what I would tell white in this game is learn how to keep your groups connected. Learn about shapes, learn about what stones keep groups connected, because again, the point of the game is not to live. The point of the game is to make points, and the way to make points is that your groups are alive. But making eyes is a very last chance way to live. You always want to be able to live in the easiest way possible, which is to have a big area that's not invadable, right? So you need to take a look and understand, where are the points that I can come and be alive? Where are the points that I can make a huge area, right? Like in this section, if you take a look, where are white's points really? If you try and estimate score, you see a lot of the groups are alive, but white's amount of points are very, very small because of how many parts of the groups have been split, right? If your groups were connected, you would have little to no issues, right? And for black, I would try and not fight so much. I would try and think about making sure how to learn how to keep my groups fine as well, right? Don't immediately go for an attachment over here. Just wait and see what the idea is, right? If your opponent is getting too big, then go ahead and fight, but don't immediately start something and then have to figure it out, because that's the worst way to play the game, where you have to figure things out.